Hello, and this is Quakeman, and I understand right off the bat that people are going to be a little confused and probably thinking that I'm a little bit late to the party on this sort of discussion, but I want to do it probably because I just feel like talking about it right now, because lately I've been actually playing it again. The recording you're seeing is my third playthrough of the game. I'm sorry, I had to take a drink. So what you guys are looking at is if you have no idea what this is supposed to be, no, this is not a map mod made by some other community member or whatever in the Skulltag or Syndrome community that I either know or worked on or whatever like that. This is actually the official, pretty much the story continuation after Doom 2 they considered, called No Rest for the Living. This was first introduced and given to people on the Xbox Live Arcade of Doom 2, I believe, if I remember correctly, in 2010 or 2011. It's one of those years dates they came out, and I could open up on Wikipedia, but I just don't feel like it right now. No Rest for the Living was a new 9-level thing that was added to Doom 2 for the Xbox Live Arcade game that added a little bit more than just, oh, here's Doom 2 on the Xbox. And I've played it on the Xbox, and there's a lot of things that made me very surprised for this game. And for someone who does map design, probably not professionally for the community, I mean, I haven't made any maps that were used in professional mods because I don't really put my stuff out there, but I made a lot of stuff. Can't really say it's good, but or professional, whatever. The thing is, I've done map design before. Am I the best person to talk about that sort of thing? Probably not, but because I understand how map design works, especially with Wolfenstein, Doom, and Quake, I just want to talk about it. I mean, of course, everyone has different ways of putting it out there. That's fine. But when I played No Rest for the Living, that was very shocking to me. Now, yes, I understand the video footage you're watching is No Rest for the Living using Zendronum, but I tried my best not to use the jumping to try and show how the map design was pretty much clear on from the Xbox. And I know I have free looking too, but just, you know what, that's fine. If you want, I could do an actual playthrough without the free looking entirely. I could just disable that. But I just want to show the game at least and just show the map design of how it looks like and everything in Zendronum. But when I first played on the Xbox, I was surprised of how this was done. Now, for the first map, which I'll do a splash screen of the vector textures on Doom Builder 2, that is the most interesting map design I've ever seen. The game gives you, a shotgun pretty much outright, and everything starts to seem normal. But then over time, you start running into much more higher enemies right off the bat. Now, in Doom 2, the only enemies you first introduced, and obviously if you've already played Doom 1, you'll already know these enemies, but the first enemies you were introduced was the Zombie Man and the Imp. That was it. Those are the only two enemies you had, and the only weapons you had picked up at the very beginning is most likely just the pistol. Unless you did find all the secrets, then you would have a pistol, a shotgun, and a rocket launcher, depending on how you do things and everything like that. But the very beginning of it is, it's very short. It's about, you can finish in about like 2 minutes if you're not super speed running, but if you're just trying to get through it, kill everyone, whatever, you can get through in about 2 minutes. But No Rest for the Living's first stage. Now I understand it's only 9 maps, and I understand they could have cheaped their way out, but they must have gotten some really good people, because I don't think, if I remember, I don't think this was made directly by id. I think this was made by Nerve, who was the one who ported it to the Xbox. I could be wrong, could be right, I don't know. All I know is I don't remember this being made by id Software. And the map designs for how they did it was actually interesting. Now, obviously, if you just play through the first stage without actually paying attention, the only big enemy you tend to meet up with is an Arachnotron, just before you get to the exit. But if you go through all the secrets, you actually have to fight against, I believe it's about 4 Hell Knights, or Barons of Hell. I always tend to get confused with the two after a while. But it's the white ones, the Hell Knights, I think that's what they are. You fight against 2 Revenants and a crap ton of other enemies, 2 Mangubuses, and you only have a shotgun. And not only that, mostly through like half to even probably the first 6 stages, You don't even get a backpack. That's what's even more impressive about this game. About what they did with No Rest for Living. Now, I could say, it's kind of the it's the master quest of Doom, and that is true, but it's still very interesting of how they're able to put this in there so well. They balance it very well for the player, at the same time making it very hard for the pro people. And yes, I did Ultraviolent first off when I played this on Xbox. And the map design for the first stage is so amazing, and every other stage is even more beautiful. The best stage I've ever seen, though, was actually March of the Demons, which is the secret level. That is just beautiful looking. You may see a video of it later, and I may show up the contextual pictures of it, of the map design over time. But, my God, was I just blown away by just the amount of parallax lines. The coding they did, well, there is no extra coding, but the fact that what they did to the game, the way they did the puzzles, the way they did the secrets, even though the secrets were kind of easy to find and kind of hard to find, for any people who've played Doom 1 and 2, like I have since I was 6 years old, those secrets were pretty easy to find. And I'm being honest. Like, if you want to, I could try and find my camera and take screenshots of the leaderboards of every stage, and majority of them I have at least like 80 to 90% of every secret found. Probably stage 7 and 8, I think I didn't get that many afterwards because I wasn't paying attention to it afterwards because it got really fucking hard. But I was just very easy to find those secrets, but that's fine. I mean, the way they design it is actually just impressive because they're not easy to find, but they're not that hard to find either, and it's indifferent in some ways. And it kind of reminds me of how Doom 1 and Doom 2 was, where those secrets were kind of hard to find, but when you find them, you're like, wow, they're that easy to figure it out, okay, and you move on. But regardless, No Rest for Living, I gotta say, was probably one of the best map designs I've ever seen. And I understand that, like, the maps that were made for Doom 2 and Doom 1 were, like, back in the 1993s and 1994. And I get that. I get that. But at the same time, like, it's very interesting of how much people were able to do with design. They were able to do with all these other things. And so, something I wanted to do. And if anyone has ever saw this old video called What a Trick Shot, I wanted to do a little series on my channel called Mod Showcase for Zandronum, Z-Doom, Z-Damon, whatever you want to call it. Basically, mods that I played when I started playing Skulltag in 2005 in the community there, which now is Zandronum. I wanted to showcase all these different mods that I played. There was Ultimate Torment and Torture, Z-Doom Deep in the Dead, there's Alien Vendetta, Coop Builds, Drown in Blood. Oh god, there's a lot of stuff. Like, I'll try to take a picture of all the WODs I have for Zandronum. It's crazy, and it's not just the single player type stuff. It's even the multiplayer one. I did a video series, 6 videos with my friend Shock, for Cybercrime 3, which I actually did a local Friday Night Frag Fest in Skulltag in 2006. I didn't win, but it doesn't matter to me. It was just so much fun playing these games, and I wanted to show them off. I wanted to show these people off these sort of designs that people did, and to show off the craziness that people were able to do far more than what Doom was allowed. And some of those is actually Ultimate Torment and Torture, the Ultimate Torment Torture Invasion, the City of the Damned, Z Portal. Oh my god, it's so amazing what people can do with a game when they have such limitations, and that's what's so much beauty in these old games that I grew up with, and it's why I give them so much credit. I mean, yes, I do love the new games, but these old ones are so much good. And even though this is a 2011 add-on called No Rest for Living, just god damn, they did a beautiful job for what they're doing. It's very great. It's a very great add-on after defeating Icon of Sin and Doom 2, and it's very brutal for anyone who grew up on Doom like I had. And it's it's very tough. It's still, you can still get through it. It's not like impossible, but like that first playthrough and just seeing these things happen, holy crap. It was just like amazing to me that I was very happy that this even came out. And I'm very happy. Now yes, I already understand that I did do a playthrough kind of. I did a compilation of it with my friend Double Seven Woody, and probably people have already saw what No Rest or Living is through that. But I actually wanted to give my own little thoughts and opinions, in a sense, kind of sort of review style of it. And even though it's not really a review, um, but I just wanted to show this to people, and probably everyone already fucking knows because again, the game came out in like on the Xbox in 2011, I think. I think 2011 is the year date. I could be wrong. And then the BFG edition came out last year, which I still do not recommend anyone picking that up, honestly. But if anyone does, okay, fine. But I recommend getting the original one anyways, because the BFG edition just, yeah. I already made a video about it. You can go watch that. But if you bought the BFG edition, it includes No Rest or Living with you. And if you want to play that with Zandrodum or Z-Doom or whatever you prefer, because there's so many fucking ports out there, you know, Doom Legacy, J-Doom, just whatever you want to use it for, you need Doom 2 first off. And then you take the WAD that says NRFTL, which is No Rest or Living, with a plus sign. Take the WAD, put it in the same folder for any of those things, drag it into the icon you're using for the port, and select Doom 2, and then when you go to the new game, it'll, instead of it just immediately going choose your difficulty, it'll say which episode, which will be Hell on Earth or No Rest for Living. Just select No Rest for Living, do your difficulty, and enjoy the game. And that's how you can access it, or play it through, whatever the system it gives to you. I personally don't recommend doing that, but that's, everyone has their own preference on that sort of thing. And just enjoy it and have a lot of fun with it. And I checked the map design, even on the easiest, I mean very easy difficulty where all the ammo gives you double. That is still pretty tough. It's pretty surprising of what they did to the game. And on ultra violent, it is I can't think of the right word to give it, but it's not an easy thing, but it's so much fun to get through, and I'm very happy for this sort of thing to exist. And so if you're able to play, I definitely recommend it. But just goddamn, I don't know what else to really say about it besides the fact that the map design is brilliant and the way they did everything is great. And using these maps for deathmatch is interesting too, even though the maps I don't think are actually designed for it. I haven't checked those sort of lines or coding to see if multiplayer is possible. Well, actually, no, it is, because you have to play through it on Xbox Live Arcade. Yeah. Anyways, the maps are so great, and March of the Demons I think is one of the best multiplayer maps I ever had to try and play on, and I've tested it with a bunch of my friends. I even tested it live through Zandorm, and March of the Demons is quite remarkable in my opinion, and it's just really brilliant, really is. And I guess I'm out of words afterwards, I will do a playthrough of it with me speaking, if you want to hear the speaking of it, or just watch these sort of compilations here. But I'm amazed with this, and I may do more of these sort of opinions things, especially with old games that I grew up on in the past. I may do one for Hexen. I may do one for Heretic. I could do one for Strife, even though I didn't get to play that game until I was 15. I didn't know about it for a long time because it was kind of not well known per se. I definitely want to do one for Rise of the Triad. Quake, obviously, I'm going to do. But that's only if you guys want to hear actually my own thoughts and opinions of how I grew up with these sort of games, and just my amazement with these sort of first-person shooters I grew up with, which I understand is nowadays it's mostly military shooters. But honestly, I'm very indifferent about it. I'm just happy to see games like Rack and the new Rise of the Triad and stuff like that actually existing nowadays to fill in that gap. But I'm okay with the military shooters. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And if you guys haven't had a chance to play it, I definitely recommend doing it. And thank you so much for listening. I love to speak about this sort of things. If you want more, please leave a comment. Thank you so much. Have a great and wonderful day.